This is the Freedom Ring.
Is it Friday already?
We made it.
Holy cow. Happy Friday, everybody. And welcome to everybody watching on Rumble Live. We'll be putting up the, what do we call it? Not the rebroadcast, but we're going to be on YouTube later. Also on Bitchute, Gab. Like, follow, and share, please. That's the most important part. Like, follow, and share.
And subscribe.
Yeah. Got some pretty cool stories to get to. Actually, no, they're not cool.
They're not cool at all.
This is the story that the mainstream media is bearing. None of them are cool. They're real things happening. Another conspiracy theory being proven true right in front of your very eyes.
Another one. I'm losing count, man.
Well, we've got 20 of them. Maybe on Monday's show, we get to the 20 that have those conspiracy theories against Donald Trump that were all proven false. Everything that the mainstream media was saying about it, I got it compiled, but one thing at a time I'm trying to juggle here. Let's see, we've got the conspiracy theory, we've got your weekend barbecue plans, and do they include laboratory-grown meat? Probably not.
Well, you may not have a choice soon, right?
And how Pfizer is absolutely having your best interests in mind. Shame on you for questioning them. We should smack you.
Just take it.
Pfizer
Just take it.
Can't take more of it.
Yeah, trust me.
But on a serious note, when we started our podcast and started planning the show, which, by the way, we're just, over a week?
Yeah.
We made it a week without killing each other.
Well, I got to talk to you after this thing's over.
We wanted to make sure because the world is so twisted and dark, and I think we're observing a battle between good and evil. I think there's a lot of people that would agree with that. We wanted to make sure that the beginning of every show started with something inspirational and had God in mind. And so I go through these memes. Everyone gets these memes if you're, I guess, clicking on them enough to where it becomes a part of your algorithm. And I really look forward to reading them every day. And this one came across. It says, "Without rain, nothing grows. Learn to embrace the storms of your life." And it's so true. I think God puts struggles in your life, our lives. You can't give up, though. You can't give in. You've got to embrace the struggles so you can appreciate the good times.
You learn from it.
I mean, are there good times? If everything's a good time? You know, it's like we were talking about racism yesterday. If everything's racist, is anything racist anymore? I know that's an extreme. I just
kind of cancels itself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But everything that is worth anything in your life involves struggle. I mean, if you want to have six-pack abs, or in my case, one giant ab. I used to have a six-pack. Not so much. I'm going to blame it on my wife's cooking, too.
There you go.
My wife's cooking is awesome. But after nearly 30 years of it, I no longer have six-pack abs. I just have one giant ab. But seriously, you go to the gym, and there is the effort. I don't know of anyone that really likes. I mean, I guess you could learn to like all the squats and the bench press and the curls and the sweating and the treadmill and blah, blah, blah.
I'd rather have cheese popcorn.
Exactly. But cheese popcorn.
Yeah.
Like popcorn with cheese melted on it?
No, it's
or
like the
powdered
dried,
cheese.
Powdered, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I can do that, too.
You want a nice fat paycheck? What's that paycheck preceded by? Work. Effort.
Yeah.
I'd rather just have the paycheck.
Unless you're in government. Now, there's two different rules here,
right?
You know?
Yeah, it didn't apply to us. And that story coming up later.
And they just gave themselves, a 21% rate increase?
Yes.
Raise?
Yes.
Yeah.
So how much of the inflation that you and I are feeling are they going to feel? They don't, There's another quote from Joe Biden where he said, we're Americans, suck it up, we can take it. Dude, when's the last time you pumped gas? Or even paid for it?
He just calls up Ukraine and says, send me another $1 billion.
Right.
Yeah.
just a big slap in everyone's face. But God puts struggles in our life to strengthen us. And you got to look at the benefit.
Exactly.
You got anything to add to that before we move on?
It builds character. You learn from your mistakes. We all make mistakes, and it's not. I don't believe that God puts any of that stuff in your life. I think He just allows free will and lets things happen as they happen, and it's up to us to learn. Oh, that didn't work out too good. I better not do that again.
I don't know. Sometimes I think He puts things in our life.
Do you?
I think He put you in my life after I.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It sounded like a Valentine's Day card. Sorry.
No, it's okay, sweetie.
No, the way you and I met after what happened with my my radio deal there. We'll elaborate. Yeah. We're not going to do that today. It's a Friday.
And knowing my history too, where I won't go into the depth of it, but
we will someday.
There's been things that have happened to me just through the radio station, ClassXradio.com. Running that for all those years, a lot of things happened, and I learned from it. And I, at one point, just turned it over to God. I'm like, God, I can't do this anymore. So, you do it. I'll do what I'm supposed to do, but I'm going to rely on you.
Bring me to where you want me to be.
Yeah.
I think Will Smith had said, there's Will Smith and Steve Harvey. More so Steve Harvey does these inspirational talks before every show, and that's the one part of his show I listen to. It's his radio show, and you can get that on the podcast somewhere else. But they were both talking in their own way about how the greatest things in life are right on the other side of fear. Light is on the other side of darkness. So whenever something negative is put in your life, you can pretty much assume that something great is on the other side of it.
Valleys, you got ups and downs, and ups and downs. So when something is really bad, you're getting closer to the good part.
Yeah. So when the fallout with my last radio job happened, which led to me meeting you, I'm just having good feelings about what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So that had to happen. A door had to close before another one opened.
And before you could learn to appreciate it, too.
Right.
In the midst of all there is a negative side for you doing all this, and that's the financial end of it. Because there's no promises, there's no guarantees.
But we gonna make it happen.
Gonna make it happen, brother. But, there's this thing called, it's a 5-letter word, and it starts with an F. Gotcha. Faith. It's just...
Hold on. I'm a product of public schools.
He's thinking, did he spell it wrong?
Right. Did you have 2 Ks at the end? Yeah. Wait a minute. All right, so...
Faith, man. It's about faith. You got to have faith.
Just like George Michael said. I forgot the words.
I got to get a spotlight in here.
Faith.
I got to get a big spotlight in here when you go into that mode. I just turn it on and
I become Elvis Tourette'ly. I do a character with my family. It's like Elvis if he was on blotter acid. He just spews out random crap. And I've dubbed him Elvis Tourette'ly because he's just a nut job.
So when you're at home and just out of nowhere, you just break out into this your family
right at the dinner table.
Here he goes again.
Yeah. I try to make dinner a little entertaining.
I do some of that with Nene sometimes too.
But then I'll do it out in public, at a restaurant.
Do you really?
Yeah. My son is just, I'll leave and sit in another booth, man. I ain't sitting here with you.
This is not my daddy. I might look like him, but I never met him before in my whole life.
Hey, man, what are you talking about, man? All right, so let's wrap this up. Without rain, nothing grows. Learn to embrace the storms of your life. Something good is about to happen. Embrace it. All right, let's move forward with the show. We got emails to get to. freedomringshow at Gmail. This one, we were talking to Ohio Brett yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And I think the Superior Court nominee, Judge Jackson, came up during that conversation. And this lady emailed saying, I heard your show yesterday talking about the Superior Court nominee, Judge Jackson, not being able to give her definition of a woman. Up until then, I was actually thinking she would be a good pick because I liked how she answered most questions asked of her. I was so disappointed that she, a woman, gave the dumbest response possible. I can't answer that, she says in quotes. I can't answer that. I'm not a biologist. Then she says, but you are a woman. She gave a politically correct answer as to not offend anyone that may support the idea that a biological male could identify as a woman. She just offended the entire biological female population. I understand a judge isn't supposed to give her opinion, but she should be able to answer that question based on facts. That she herself is a woman.
I could see, she gets out of the shower and she's in front of the mirror and she says, What am I?
I don't want to answer that question.
No.
Well, if Judge Jackson can't tell us what a woman is, how can she be qualified enough to decipher what the constitutional law is? This cowardly response angered me to my core, my XX chromosome core. There should be... There, she could have used science to answer that. I see what she's saying. There, she could have used science to answer that. A biological female has 2 X chromosomes. Wow, maybe I should be a judge. She goes on to say, if someone is being nominated for such a high position in our courts, we have a right to know that she can separate fact from fiction. That she understand real biological science, not a false science that is being manipulated to satisfy some screwed up agenda. Why has society stopped championing women, she says? Where are the women in power? Where are the women in Hollywood? Where are the women in professional sports? Why aren't they speaking out against this?
Money. When you say Hollywood, yeah. I'm sorry, I feel like they're all being paid off to follow the narrative.
I mean, there's such a huge agenda, man.
It is.
And I know there's people that are just throwing dartboards at the screen when we talk about this, but
there's
what's going to wake you up, man?
Yeah, there's something big going on, and you and I feel it. We know it. And like you said, it is a humongous agenda. In our lifetime, we probably couldn't figure it all out because they got things going in every direction,
You said you had an email too, didn't you?
I did. Dad burn it. Says, Bill, you need to look like you're having fun. Matt looks like he's plugged in.
Oh, yeah. When you spelled faith, I looked really plugged in.
He says, you look like you're not comfortable.
All right.
Well, I had to go to the bathroom, man.
No. I'm going to back you up on this. You have to understand that I'm just sitting here with a microphone in my face and these stories to talk, and he's actually running the show on that side. He built this whole studio that you see, and to keep us on the air and operate everything. Now, right now you get to chill because everything's kind of in autopilot, but this is a 2-man operation, and
which should be a maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, like when Joe Rogan has multiple people off camera that are pulling things up when they look, when he does Google searches and whatnot, and they're looking at video. There's other people. He's got a whole staff, so I have to come to Bill's defense here. He's running all the equipment over there.
I got to focus on a number of different things. So while I'm trying to listen to you, sometimes I'm also like, paranoid about something else that I also see happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy at that moment. I'm not real happy.
So he's not he's not hating on me.
No.
He's not happy over there.
But I do appreciate your email because that tells me that you're watching it and you're concerned about the success of the show. So thank you for that. Seriously. I'll try to be happy. I'll just try to be happy, man.
Here, drink this. You'll be happy.
Yeah.
Get me some coffee here. Lose some listeners there because they hate Green Bay.
Well, the other
Aaron
thing.
Rodgers is back. yo.
The other thing, though, is, cameras are not my forte. I can't even watch the videos.
Most people in radio hate those things.
Yeah,
there.
that thing right there staring at me 24/7. I'm like, after the show is over, sometimes I'm over here at my desk working, and I turn around, I'm like, is that thing still on?
Oh, it
and
might
I had
be.
double check to make sure I shut the computer down.
If it's not the camera, it could be Alexa.
Yeah, well, no, she's not allowed in here.
No?
No.
You unplugged her?
I unplugged her. But so, we got the whole camera thing, where you just got to get used to it. I've never really done TV before. I'm always the guy that hides in the studio by myself behind the microphone,
Probably a good decision.
Thanks, man.
Hey, does he look happy now? Hey, he's smiling. Smiling. Take a screenshot of that.
Yeah, this is the last time. Dad, burn it.
I'll look miserable. freedomringshow at Gmail. We've got Keith. He's listening in Florida, or watching in Florida.
Watch out for the mosquitoes.
Oh. Yeah, we'll get to that. Like, man, you're dropping more stories. We only have so much time.
Well, we'll do a 3-hour show today, okay?
All right. Do you really believe, this is Keith in Florida, do you really believe this so-called war, in quotes, in Ukraine is real or really happening? Look, I've never been in the military, but I can only imagine that if you're going to go to war against another country, I'm going to destroy high-value targets, roads, bridges, factories, political and government buildings, military bases. I'm not going to waste my time hitting apartment buildings with unarmed civilians and coffee shops. More than anything else, those rockets, they ain't cheap. Why would I waste my expensive munitions on crap, worthless targets that don't further my invasion of said country? So what am I saying? I think it's total bullshit, he says. Fake war. Think about it. The liberal elite want to make Joe Biden look tough, hire some Hollywood film people, and create a war. Don't think it's possible? We're being played. My response to him was, I absolutely do not think it's a war. I think it's a mission to help rid the world of the deep state. And when it's all is said and done, and I know people are still looking at me like a kook job when I say this, but I do believe Putin will be
exonerated.
Not exonerated, but you're going to realize he did the world a huge favor.
Yeah.
He isn't Adolf Hitler Part 2.
I don't believe that for 1 minute. And in fact, Putin never called it a war. He called it a special military operation.
And what have we found out he's only gone in to do and attack?
Well, I found out he's been attacking the biolabs that are all along his border. And if I was, a president of a country, I'd be pretty upset if, they built biolabs along my border. What if we did that? What if it was going on here? Along the Mexican border, if Mexico had all these biolabs, wouldn't we be threatened by that? And as I understand it, now I'm not getting all my facts straight, but I wanted to say that first. But, I know that from what I've read, I believe I read that Putin has been asking and trying to resolve this issue for 8 years, and they're not listening to him. So at some point, you just got to take some action, right?
I'm trying to wrap my head around the currency, and I know Russia has changed their currency, so they're not trading with the U.S. dollar, and I'm still that whole section of the story I'm not steeped on yet. And
well, it's Jassara and Nassara, and you can look it up. Dude,
right.
We did talk about that a little bit once before, but I also, speaking of gold, I read that Russia is now allowing some of the unfriendly countries to pay for natural gas in gold. When was the last time you've heard of folks using gold as currency? Folks, he's breaking this this thing of the central banks. The central banks, it's a huge story, but they have control over the earth. The central banks have control over the earth. And
Bill's been sniffing the glue again.
And guess what country they don't have control of right now? Russia. They're completely independent.
What about China?
As I understand it, China is not under that spell either, nor is India, I believe. But the United States is. And we're the home of the deep state. We are the cause of all the trouble.
And Ukraine would be what?
deep state heaven.
Right. It'd be like the Las Vegas or the hub, the main hub.
The main hub. They wash all their money there. There's a lot going on, folks, and all these deaths that you're hearing there are, in fact, as I understand, allegedly, the Ukrainian military are killing their own people and saying Russia did it.
Right.
And think about this. If it was a war, don't you think that Putin could win it literally in a couple days, considering the fact that there's 170,000 military troops that are Ukrainian? And Putin's got 1.1 million active, with another 2 million he can call up in the reserve.
I don't know. I whenever that comes up with the military, I go right to, wow, there's so many global skirmishes that the U.S. military has been sent right into. And this time we're not there.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Could it be that... but here you go. You're gonna slam me. But it could
sniff the glue so you have an. There you go.
I love it.
Now say it.
Could it be that Biden's not president and Trump, in fact, might be? Or
now I'm not quite there with that, but the U.S. military, I do not believe that Biden is in control of them.
I don't either, and I'm about 85% in the belief that there is this thing called devolution, and you can search that too. We're not going to get into all that today, but it's a complicated story. But search devolution online, and you'll come up with Patel Patriot, who wrote, I think it's 18 parts. It's fascinating, and it adds a lot of sense to what happened when Trump was leaving office.
To wrap up Keith's email, I responded by saying, and the carnage inflicted on the Ukraine citizens, I believe, are deep state pieces of crap put there to do the harm, so it's blamed on Putin. Hollywood actors, no. Staged, yes.
Yeah.
Not buying it. And, I mean, it's amazing how many people seemed that when they crossed over, after 2 years of realizing, man, the media has been lying about this whole COVID crap and all that stuff. And as soon as Russia happened, that same media they were talking about, they suddenly said, oh, you see what's going on? Check this out. You don't think? It's the same people. It's the same group of people conveying lies.
Lying to us for 5, almost 6 years now. Yeah, it's the same people. Question everything. Question everything you see, everything you read.
Yeah. We're not saying agree with us.
Yeah.
Question it.
Question it. But just question it.
Just because it was on the 6 o'clock news or CNN or Fox or whatever network you prefer, if it's mainstream media, question it for your own good.
Use some critical thinking.
And then if you're watching us, question what we're saying. Dig it for yourself.
Well, you don't have to question me as much, because I'm surely right, right?
And he's unhappy, so that means he's probably digging a little deeper for us. Because this news today can drive you batty, man.
It can.
Okay, we going into Pfizer, or are we going into... what did you want to get into next? We have no plan. There's no plan.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Okay, I'll do this one. It's a little bit faster. Bombshell. Fauci owns a patent on SARS-CoV-2 GP120 HIV insertion, which destroys the body's cancer-killing T cells. Now, Fauci is just innocent, right? Early on...
He owns a patent?
He owns a patent. Early on in the plandemic... Scamdemic. We reported this is coming from Natural News, by the way. We reported that unusual HIV insertions had been identified in the Wuhan coronavirus, COVID-19. This strongly suggests at the time that the virus was a bioweapon constructed in a laboratory. But since that time, it has been further revealed that Tony Fauci of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, also known as NIAID, owns a patent on at least one such HIV insertion, which is known as GP120. Now, interestingly, GP120 just so happens to be located in the spike proteins of SARS-CoV-2, as well as in the spike proteins of all COVID vaccines. In a nutshell, GP120 as applied to the spike proteins in both COVID and COVID injections effectively destroys the body immune T cells in the same way as HIV.
So if you own a patent, what would be like your goal?
I would assume to make cash, dollar. Why else would you get it patented?
So
No, it's my money. I did it.
keep putting him on TV. Keep listening to him. Does he have a financial interest? No, he's just looking out for my best interest.
Yeah, he's with the government. I can trust him. And the word is...
I can't believe I've turned into my dad. Damn government! Look at these rat bastards! Turn that channel! And my dad would go from news stories like that to reruns of All in the Family.
I was going to say,
which
Archie
did nothing,
Bunker.
nothing for his high blood pressure. That guy had it figured out.
I love this guy.
Yeah, meathead.
But as I understand it, again, in my research, I've read that this fall is going to be a lot of trouble for folks that took in terms of HIV. I hope it's not true.
Most of the stories we talk about on this podcast, we hope aren't true.
Yeah.
But finding out there's a lot of them that are, most of them. Staying with the whole positive note here, CNN reporting that Pfizer has issued a recall for a high blood pressure medication distributed under 3 names, according to the company, Accuredic, and its 2 generic versions distributed by Greenstone, called quinapril and hydrochlorothiazide. That sounded like the beginning of a Prince song. What was it? Don't worry, I won't hurt you. I think it's 1999. Sorry, I've got ADD like a SOB. Anyway, hydrochlorothiazide are subject to the recall. The medications treat hypertension, which increases the risk for potential dangerous cardiovascular events like strokes. The recall is voluntary and stems from the tablets containing higher levels of nitrosamines, which pose a cancer risk. Although Pfizer said in a news release, there's no immediate risk to patients taking this medication.
You can keep doing it.
Yeah. What the hell is that? It's like saying you're probably not going to OD with this batch of heroin, so go ahead and shoot the rest of it up, and we'll worry about your overdose with another batch down the road. If it's... yes, it could cause cancer, but you can continue using it.
Yeah, it's really not a big deal at this point in time.
Nitrosamines are common in water and foods, including cured and grilled meats, like the meats you're about to tell us about, maybe. Dairy products and vegetables. Everyone is exposed to some level of nitrosamine. I still don't want it.
No.
These impurities may increase the risk of cancer if people are exposed to them to the above acceptable levels over long periods of time. So they want you exposed to guarantee your business? Is that why they're saying, hey, don't worry about it? Yes, there's a little bit of cancer involved.
No, it's more like, well, don't worry, it's just population control.
Right.
Just take it. It won't hurt you, but you could get cancer, but take it. We have to tell you it's bad because the law says we have to, but there's no concern about us telling you that you can just keep taking it.
Ow! My brain hurts!
It's like the masterful double speak, right?
What? You got the word cancer involved. I want nothing.
Yeah.
No affiliation with it. No, go ahead and take it. It's all right. You don't have to stop now. Let's wait till another head grows off your shoulder or something. Then we'll worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, if a lot of people die, then we'll maybe revisit this. I just don't understand, man. It's insane.
How potent is the strain of weed you're smoking if this is making sense to you?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, send us a message. We want to know.
Yeah, I get it. Hey, take some more. Finish the bottle. Wow. I need another cocktail. Hold on.
So, what else you got? You got any like good news or anything?
No, there ain't squat today, man. It's
we
all
talked
hell on
yesterday.
earth.
We talked yesterday. You call me like every night. And we kind of go over our notes, and he's like telling me some stuff, and he says, "What do you got?" And I'm like, I couldn't really find much. He says, "Yeah, me neither."
Well, I've got this noose I'm tying around my head. We'll talk about it tomorrow. You had something to do with barbecue meat or something. Let's go there.
Okay, well,
because it's Friday. There's going to be a lot of barbecues happening.
Well, before we start the show, maybe go out to your deck and fire up the grill, and let's just get in the spirit of this.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, there we go. All right, let it heat for 5 seconds. Okay, we're ready. So here we go. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos.
Oh, we know this is good.
This is a marriage made in heaven, pushing for a new lab-grown meat industry that harvests the blood of unborn cow fetuses.
Yeah.
It's already sounded good. What kind of spice goes with that? This from Natural News.
Bone dust. Ground up bone. Throw some more bone on that.
Yeah, because it's bio-created lab-grown meat, and it has no bones. So we need lots of bone meal in there.
No, I'm talking about the kids we sacrificed to get that.
Oh, man. Okay, so
what's the meat made of again?
Well, here we go. Okay, it says some of the world's wealthiest investors are putting their money into a new lab-grown meat industry. This lab-grown meat is made from animal stem cells that are cultured and replicated in vitro. The cultured meat product is being touted as a solution to the climate change. It is chains, isn't it? Climate change.
You're chained to it, so yeah.
Because it reduces the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that come from ranches, small farms, and factory farms.
So this is the healthier version.
Yeah, there's no farting involved, I guess.
Right.
Like there's so much that it's going to take the world down,
The cow's ass gas. Gotcha.
Yeah. Investors and advertisers are calling this cultured protein a clean meat product because no animals are killed to produce it. However, this meat is not entirely slaughter-free. In fact, the animal cells are mass-produced using the blood of unborn cow fetuses.
Starving.
Feel better?
Starving. I can't wait for lunch.
Yummy. The mother cows and their newborns must be slaughtered to collect the secret ingredient needed to mass-produce lab-grown meat. Due to its unique ratio of hormones, this fetus blood is currently the most efficient way to culture the animal cells. This is the same fetal blood that has been used to mass-produce cells for manufacture since the 1950s. I don't know why I did that. I've already said the word how many times.
Right.
But maybe they won't catch this one. Lockdown loving elites like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, they're rushing to control the food supply.
Loving elites.
And dictate the type of meat that people are allowed to eat.
Dick explains it.
Yeah, quite well. Gates is buying up farmland across the United States, pushing for genetically engineered crops, geoengineering of the weather, and climate and digital surveillance and compliance systems.
Don't throw that article away.
I won't.
Put it in the file.
And let's see what happens.
And when we finally get a hold of Ted Nugent and put him on the show, we're going to read that story, and we're going to act like we're in support of it. Just watch his head explode.
Why you?
All right, it's a wango. It's tango.
I know. On a serious note, I would much rather have Ted's procedure, which has been fine since the beginning of time.
Yeah. It's all about money. It's all about money. Period. They don't care about us cattle, peasants.
This is a great segue. This is the last story I have for today, by the way. This is disgusting. If you think that what did I say earlier? Another conspiracy theory. Okay. is playing out right in front of us. This is according to theblaze.com. New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced an exemption just yesterday for city-based athletes and performers from New York City's vaccine mandate following plenty of pressure, most notably the bad optics of NBA star Kyrie Irving being barred from playing in Brooklyn Nets home games, yet being allowed to enter the Nets arena as a spectator and sit courtside. Other city workers are still required to abide by the mandate. However, and leaders of their unions aren't happy. The paper said the exemption for athletes and performers is effective immediately. Okay? He says, quote, being healthy is not just about being physically healthy, but being economically healthy. This is from the side that preaches bring people together, right? Yet he's blatantly saying if you're not of a certain tax bracket, you are different and to be treated different.
Yeah, we're cows and peasants.
The mayor, prior to his announcement, said he's going to make some tough choices. People are not going to agree with some of them. I must move this city forward. Generals lead from the front. I was not elected to be fearful, but fearless. The Post said that New York City's vaccine mandate, which resulted in more than 1,400 employees getting fired, still applies to municipal and private sector workers. Adams added that he's not planning to rehire them. But the basketball player, because he's in a higher tax bracket, gets a different set of rules and requirements.
Who is this guy?
The Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City.
What we need to do is bring him into the Freedom Ring with us. It's like, come on. I'll kill you. Let's see how strong you are, little coward boy.
How is
unbelievable?
How is this not exactly like Nazi Germany, where if you're of this group, you go into the oven, and if you're not, you get a life of luxury?
Yeah.
Is that not? Am I overlooking this, or am I?
No, it is. That's exactly what it is.
The pro athlete doesn't have to obey these rules, but average Joe,
because they entertain us. They entertain us.
And he's on record saying it. Here's another conspiracy. We're
scumbags, man. They're Scott McKay has it right. They're all scumbags.
They have the cabal. They're always saying the cabal has to put it out there and admit and to basically show their cards.
Yeah.
If this isn't them showing their cards,
they're telling us what's going to happen.
Right.
What they're going to do.
There is going to be two separate groups. Like George Carlin said, there's a big, powerful group, and you ain't in it.
That's right.
He was so ahead of his time, man.
He was.
That's all I got for today. I need a beer. I wish they had whiskey in here, but unfortunately it's just coffee.
Well, we're at the end of the week. You can catch us all over the place. freedomringshow.com. That's the best place to go when you start your hunt for Freedom Ring. I was going to say ClassX. We're also at ClassXradio.com, where Matt and I do a show right before we go live on the video from 9 until 10. You can listen to that, too.
We have to ramp up for this insanity.
Yeah, we got to kind of that's our exercise, right?
We're actually able to pronounce words in that show. And then we get to hear them, we're like,
But that's at class.
Looking like Joe Cocker trying to speak, man. Why would you do?
And nobody sees us.
No.
So it's that version of the Freedom Ring is on ClassXradio.com.
I just busted out Joe Cocker, man.
He can't even defend himself. Yeah? We're on Rumble. We're on BitChute. And we're also on YouTube. We're not sure how long, but but maybe we'll pull a Scott McKay, and if they delete our account, we'll do another one.
Well, that'll happen eventually.
I think he's up to 22 accounts now. He's like, he will not let them win. Right. You will not win with me, Scott McKay.
Salute to all the other Patriots.
And we're also now on Gab. If you go to the groups section of Gab, you can search for us, the Freedom Ring. And Facebook, the Deep State website. Facebook, yeah, it was designed by the CIA and DARPA. Search it, read it, and then come back and tell me I'm wrong. But we like to keep the enemy close at hand, so we're on Facebook. Search the Freedom Ring. And if you
that old the phrase from The Godfather, keep your friends close but your enemies closer.
Yeah. And that's what Trump, I hope that's what he did when he was in office, because he was surrounded
There's
by
so much
the enemy.
to be learned from that movie. Godfather 1's awesome.
Yeah.
My favorite movie quote is actually when Kay and Michael, soon after Michael comes back from Sicily, and he's like trying to woo her back and eventually propose to Mary. And she says, Michael, do you know how naive you sound? Politicians don't have people killed. And then he looks at her in the eye and goes, who's being naive, Kay?
I thought you were going to say, have you ever heard of Hillary?
I gotta go, man. I gotta leave like now.
I didn't say any last names.
Duff.
Hillary Duff.
Hillary Duff
Jones.
There you go. Hillary Schlazinski. We all know her.
She lives in Mexico.
She works at Dairy Queen.
In Mexico.
Schlazinski?
Yeah, it's something like that. Like Putino.
Shut the thing off. Shut it off. God. How you doing? I'm Hillary Schlazinski. Doesn't work, dude.
Hillary Colinto. Have a good weekend,
Bye.
everyone.
I hope to see you Monday.